I don't think that the people going in fully understand what they're walking into, and you're left in a very vulnerable spot.
A place meant to give people the best care possible, accused of being in it for the money.
But just knowing that this 92-bed facility isn't the proper place for people to get treated, it really makes me sad, because we need it up here.
Tonight, just weeks after Contact 7 first exposed a Colorado behavioral health facility, more victims and now employees are coming forward.
And now the state is demanding changes in response to our investigation.
I think it's a blessing that you guys are doing what you guys are doing to uncover the truth of what's really going on behind a facility like this.
Late today, the state downgraded the operation license of Clearview Behavioral Health in Johnstown, a significant action that follows weeks of reporting by the Contact 7 investigator.
Jessica Shannon, let me a moment right here. It's perhaps one of the most important stories we've ever shared. It's a mental health facility that's paid to do one thing: help the mentally ill. Tonight we take you inside these walls and inside the secrets of Clearview Behavioral Health.
I'm still angry and frustrated and sad because I'm still struggling to find help.
One by one,
I could tell you that patient care was definitely not a #1 priority.
They stepped forward to share their stories.
It's a scandal what they're doing.
You can't treat people the way that they treat people. People are not animals. People are not paychecks.
All sharing accusations of the unthinkable.
They're paying for therapy. They're paying to get better, and we're not helping them get better.
It was always about the money or insurance. It wasn't about care. It was about how much they can get from that person.
They're talking about this mental health facility, claims of taking advantage of the mentally ill. You were there for 10 days.
Yeah.
Was the priority of this facility to make you better?
No, absolutely not. We kind of figured out that they were keeping people for insurance.
What's the priority at Clearview?
It's all about money, and it's fraud, and it's not patient care.
Some willing to show their faces. Are you concerned doing this interview might cost you your job?
Absolutely.
You're willing to risk it?
Yes.
Others asking us to disguise their identities, fearing an aggressive response from the company. Are you afraid of retaliation for doing this interview?
I'm terrified, actually.
In all, more than 24 patients, family members, former and current employees, all showing courage with a cause.
I'm accusing them of abusing their power, insurance fraud, or at the very least, insurance farming, which is shopping insurance on patients to see how much money they can get, and falsely imprisoning people.
Mike reached out to Contact 7 Investigates after his son was held at Clearview longer than he wanted. Did you realize at one point you were being held against your dad's wishes?
Yeah, I kind of figured that out pretty early on.
Sweeping accusations from patients and insiders, claims of not discharging patients that are ready to leave, short staffing, private and Medicare insurance fraud, minimal or no care from doctors or therapists, and serious sanitation concerns, allegations the state is now reviewing.
The janitorial staff, we didn't have one for months, and so nothing really got cleaned.
He worked as a mental health technician, paid just above minimum wage. Out of frustration, he quit after a year.
I have had a few times where it was me and 18 psychotic patients.
Was that safe?
When I don't have 4 eyes looking around everything around me, it's not safe at all.
Did you want to leave before you were sent home?
Absolutely. Yes, many, many, many times.
What were you told?
That I wasn't ready, that the doctor decided that I wasn't ready, the doctor that I hadn't seen.
Who's making the decision on discharges? Is it the medical professionals or the money managers, the administrators?
The administrators that are making the decision, and nobody says anything.
What does that say to you?
That it's all wrong.
She's a former nurse. She quit after less than a month, concerned working at Clearview could jeopardize her nursing license. We showed her an internal email sent from an insider.
We have to stop having 2 heavy discharge days in a row.
The email written by Clearview CEO Rick Harding appears to show his response to an administrator telling him Clearview was going to discharge 18 patients on 2 consecutive days. You work there as a nurse. What does that email say to you?
That they're not worried about their patients at all, that they're worried about their census and the money.
Denver7 also discovered this 173-page report detailing an unannounced visit last July from the state of Colorado and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Is it accurate to say this facility has issues?
There were absolutely issues, Tony. You bet.
Randy Kirkendall serves as division director for the State Department of Public Health. His team uncovered more than 14 deficiencies, findings that forced the state to issue 2 separate immediate jeopardy designations and the most serious label regulators are allowed to hand out.
When immediate jeopardy is called, it means our surveyors and inspectors feel there's an immediate threat to life and safety.
The report details failures to ensure adequate staffing levels, impacting patient safety. And state regulators wrote, Clearview failed to properly investigate patient falls, injuries, and suicide attempts, failed to provide adequate infection controls, and failed to keep rooms in a sanitary condition. The state concluded patients received care in an unsafe and unsanitary environment. Is it accurate for us to report that right now multiple state and federal agencies are investigating Clearview?
That is our understanding. That is our understanding, that there are other state agencies, regulatory agencies, looking at Clearview as well.
What's the most important thing this story needs to accomplish?
Needs to hold Clearview accountable.
And remember, she's a current employee still working inside the facility. Look into that camera and talk to the CEO and tell him what he needs to hear.
I think the CEO of Clearview needs to hear that, these are real people with thoughts and feelings. They're important and they matter. They're not just a dollar sign.
Tony Kowaleski from Denver7. Is Mr. Harding available? After several phone calls were not returned, we went directly to Clearview, wanting to talk with the chief executive officer. Here to see Mr. Harding. Could you send him out, please?
He's not available right now.
Okay, so, we can wait.
He's not here. He's not here.
He is here. His car's outside.
He's not available.
You didn't tell me the truth, did you?
He's not available.
Instead of making CEO Rick Harding available to respond to the accusations of more than 24 patients, family members, current and former employees, the facility elected to send out its director of nursing. We've talked to several current and former employees. Mm-hmm. They paint a picture of what happens behind that door. Mm-hmm. That's not a very pretty picture.
Well, I think we probably would prefer if you'd leave the building.
Clearly, swift and significant action by the state. We will have more to follow after what you just watched.
Certainly contributed to his death.
Powerful accusations by the Larimer County coroner. Tonight, Contact 7 investigates, unravels an alleged cover-up inside a Colorado mental health facility.
Something that needs to be done and something needs to be changed about Clearview.
Our 4-month investigation has exposed serious problems inside Clearview Behavioral Health in Johnstown.
Following our report, state and federal agencies started investigating.
We need to find out what's going on inside that facility.
Tonight, Chief Investigator Tony Kowaleski is back with perhaps the most troubling discovery.
And Tony, your sources say this was a preventable death.
Preventable, Ann and Shannon, and deeply disturbing. With state and federal investigations building, insiders and the coroner now saying this father of 2 did not deserve to die. It's a commodity we all value. An intangible asset we sometimes take for granted.
So my pledge is to take better and better care of myself.
47-year-old Tibor Hatay thought he had plenty of time in his future, plenty of time to share with his 2 kids and his family. He recorded this video on July 11th, 2 years ago. He died 4 days later.
I found him not breathing.
She was working inside the mental health hospital.
I was the one that called the medical emergency on the radio. I was the one that called 911.
Like several former Clearview employees, she has asked us to disguise her identity because she fears retaliation even blacklisting. You watch this man die. Do you wonder if it could have been prevented?
Every day.
I cried a lot. I was super upset, and I wasn't there during it, but I still knew it was wrong.
She's a former administrator, also concerned about retaliation. She was called in minutes after the death.
I don't understand why they did what they did.
The anger and frustration of the two former insiders centers on a decision by Clearview to give the 47-year-old a powerful tranquilizer, a cocktail of medications. Who do you blame for this man's death?
The person giving the shot, the person making the orders.
Clearview?
Yes.
Public records reviewed by Denver7 did not disclose the names of the Clearview employees responsible for administering that tranquilizer. Two insiders have said to us that this man, this father, didn't deserve to die.
No, he did not.
If he were better cared for, would he be alive today?
Certainly more than likely.
That's the opinion of Larimer County's coroner. His employees responded to Clearview after Tibor's death. They investigated what went wrong. Is there reason to wonder if Clearview contributed to his death?
Yes, there is reason because they gave him the drugs.
And Denver7 has obtained this report confirming what you just heard from the coroner. In the supplemental investigation conducted by his chief deputy back in October of 2017, she details troubling findings after watching Clearview's in-house security video. As a medical professional, do you question their decision to give him that cocktail of medication?
Yes, that cocktail is intended as a tranquilizer for somebody who is very agitated and confrontational, and those situations did not exist. He was not agitated and he wasn't confrontational.
In the report written by the deputy coroner, she confirms, I reviewed the video footage from the file. The video clearly shows the decedent was not combative. Insiders called the tranquilizer a B-52, a combination of 3 powerful drugs. From what you observed on that videotape, did he need this cocktail of medication?
No.
But the coroner's concerns about decisions made inside Clearview don't end there. Would it be accurate for me to report that Clearview attempted to cover up the details of this death?
Yes, they gave us inaccurate and misleading information in the initial investigation.
According to the report written by the coroner's chief deputy, the cover-up centers on Clearview creating documentation claiming nurses conducted required checks on Tibor in the hour after he was given that B-52 tranquilizing cocktail. Investigators did not name the person who created the fabricated document. Executives at Clearview told police he was monitored, correct?
Yes.
That wasn't the truth, was it?
No, it wasn't.
What did the video show?
Video showed that he wasn't monitored for a significant period of time, nearly an hour. Almost an hour.
Does that change the level of responsibility here?
It certainly changes the level of trust and lets you know that there's a significant problem.
He was given injection.
We brought concerns raised from Tibor's death to a ranking administrator with the Colorado Department of Public Health. She said he didn't deserve to die.
No, I'm sure he did not.
Would it be accurate for us to report the state is now going to investigate what happened?
Yes, absolutely we're going to.
What's your message to state investigators that are now looking into this death?
They should hold this hospital responsible for getting itself in order.
And that brings us back to the issue of time. A respected coroner now says it's time for the state to investigate the real facts behind Tibor's death, while former insiders continue to wonder why a father no longer has time to watch his family grow. No time for Tibor to enjoy the experiences we cherish.
It was wrong. There's nothing you can say. Nothing's going to make that better.
Every time I think about the incident, I wonder, what if we didn't give him those medications? Would he still be here today?